welcome to the first devlog of this little project that I'm working on currently. Now, I will talk you through my intentions, inspirations for this game and what I have so far. Now, you probably guessed it, inspired by games like Sekiro. I also played Liza P more than 5 times probably. I really enjoyed perfectly timing your blocks. I found that to be a very, very satisfying game mechanic. And so I thought I'm gonna try to make something similar. I'm on my own, so we're gonna stick to 2D pixel art, but I'm still gonna try to make the most out of this idea, out of the parrying mechanic. A couple months ago, I found a game on Steam. It's called Pixel Samurai. I got it for a couple bucks, and I definitely did have some fun with it. Certain things I really liked are the bosses themselves. The bosses' animations I thought to be very well done. However, the whole game in itself was rather unpolished. It felt like the game wasn't finished. Now, I think that they just didn't want it to be a big game. They just held the scope of the game rather small. And so what I want to do is build upon this idea that they had and create something more fleshed out, more polished in a bigger scope, and give it my own twist maybe on the combat system, right? And I actually came up with something yesterday, with something I think I will keep and work out on. So the player has, here's the mechanics that the player has. I will also show you some gameplay of what I have right now. So I made this in 1 day. So like I said, it's very early project, but here's what the player has. So the player can move left and right. He has a 2-hit melee combo and a block. If an enemy attacks, you receive knockback, there's screen shake, and you obviously receive damage. Now, when the player blocks an attack, they receive knockback, but obviously less than if you get hit. There's also less screen shake, and you don't receive damage, not directly. What I call this mechanic is stance damage. Blocking an attack will build up stance damage. Now, we've seen something like this in Liza P, and this is also, directly inspired by Liza P. Now, up here we have the yellow bar is your health bar. The player and every enemy will have this health bar. So the lighter yellow bar shows you your actual health points, your real health points that you would get if you subtract the stance damage. The darker bar, the darker shade yellow bar, shows you your stance damage build up. If you as the player, you have stance damage build up because you blocked too often or you missed parries too often and it ended up being a block. If you now get hit and you have stance damage build up, not only will you suffer the damage of the attack, but you will also lose all of the stance damage that you had built up as regular damage, right? So the main idea is blocking weakens your stance, it lowers your guard, it makes you more vulnerable and puts you at risk that if you now get hit with stance damage, you will suffer a ton of damage. Now, the same thing goes for an enemy. If you as a player, if you perfectly block, meaning you parry, that will build up stance damage in the enemy, that will weaken the enemy stance. So if you perform 3-4 parries in a row and you build up some serious stance damage on your enemy and you now get an attack in, you will do your attack's damage plus all of the previous stance damage you build up on the enemy. Me, for my part, I think this is a rather simple but effective system that motivates you to nail down the parries, don't play too defensive, and it is fair enough in the sense that if you have a lot of stance damage build up, there's still a way to get back your health, to lower the stance damage, convert it back to health by attacking the enemy or perfect blocking, meaning parrying. What games like Liza P and Another Crap's Treasure, you might know that game. The way you know, staggering and this structure damage, stance damage buildup. How it works in those games is parrying and especially heavy attacks build up stagger on the enemy. Now, when the enemy is staggerable, their health bar is outlined in a white color, and if you then perform a heavy attack, they will, you know, break down, and for a couple seconds you have, you know, time to really do damage. So the main strategy is parrying and performing heavy attacks to get a couple seconds of, you know, free hits in. Originally I was gonna go with the same approach, but I think the way I kind of twisted it, we don't have seen that yet. And I wanted a system that is a bit simpler or a bit easier to understand. I heard some people found it frustrating that to get the enemy actually staggered, you still had to get in that heavy attack. And a lot of people seem to, especially in the beginning of the game, miss that opportunity and not get in that heavy attack, right? If you miss that stagger window in which the enemy is staggerable, if you miss that time window, your opportunity will vanish. Now, the stagger build-up isn't gone completely. However, it kind of feels like some of your parries might have been a complete waste. That is what I didn't want to have. I wanted every parry, every block to make a difference for the fight. And so what you're seeing on screen right now is only the work of one single day. So I'll be working on this and updating on this channel. If you have any thoughts or suggestions, please comment down below. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I'll be seeing you in the next one.